that I'm gonna save it for later. I'm in Chuck, so I can't put it in my pockets because my pockets will look bulky, and you know we don't do that. So I put that bad boy in my sock, right? From church all the way through chow, marching them, running somebody to a pit, all of this stuff happening. I totally forgot about the freaking chocolate power bar, right? So when I was getting ready to leave that night, I'm taking off my freaking Chucks, drop trowel, look like I got doo-doo coming all the way up my leg. I'm like, what the fuck? What is this? Goddamn chocolate bar.
Hey, you probably still ate that thing, huh? Hey, you gotta let y'all go to
doo-doo, baby.
Doo-doo, baby.
Hey, I would have built it. If they had little peanuts in, I would have built all that off and ate it, bro.
Bruh, I ain't had no choice but to. You just gotta, you be like. Anybody hit anything crazy?
Well, I got something real quick. One of my former recruits, Dusek, he said, man, I know Levine's most embarrassing story. He said, we were humping back to the parade deck towards the end of the Crucible. He asked us if we had any questions for him. Silence. He says, no, seriously, ask me something. Somebody asked, is this your first cycle? And I guess I was blindsided, stuttering, filled with 100% hate, and now it goes, bitch, are you serious? Does it seem like it's my first cycle? And someone in the back says, yes. And I was like, shut the fuck up. No more questions.
Yeah.
It was my first cycle.
They recruit some snipers, man.
I think
yes, they are.
That's all love, though.
So there's a question. It's not really so much of a drill instructor question, but one of the questions is to the veterans, which would be how much do you miss being in? Or what do you miss about being in?
Say that one more time. It's like cutting out.
What do y'all miss about being in? More so for George and Kadeem.
I miss this. I miss talking shit. To be honest, probably more than anything else. You know what I mean? The average person I surround myself with is not torn from the that we are. So, I'm accustomed being held accountable. I'm accustomed holding up people accountable. Doing something, you know, the whole point is to make you better. Like, you know, if I talk shit to you, if I call you out on something, it's because I want you to make you better. I try to do it for you. That's not what it's like out there. Like, it's not like that out there at all in the civilian sector at all. Most people, they're like, you have to be very, of people's feelings. You have to be conscious of what people are thinking and how people feel and what you say. And that's one of the things I miss the most. I miss the accountability. That's it for me.
Yeah, hell yeah, I like that one.
That's 100%. For me, is I miss just like him though, but I miss the camaraderie, man. That's the biggest thing I miss. Just like he just said, like you don't get that nowhere else. You don't get that before the Marine Corps. You get it during, but you don't get that before and after the Marine Corps, hands down. Like, ain't no other place you will ever go in your life where you can get that type of brotherhood and sisterhood. Like, it's just unbeatable. You know what I mean? So, like, the camaraderie, being amongst people that you know 100% got your back at all times. They know what move you gonna make next. They know what you're thinking. All of that, especially the dudes I deployed with in combat, man. Like, we were so tight. Like, we did 3 tours straight together. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I miss that. That's the main thing I miss out of everything from the Marine Corps is the people that I meet while I was in and the camaraderie while I was in.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. That's true. That's all facts, too. I can definitely see me being like that. So I got Robert Puente saying, George's voice already scares the crap out of me.
Man. My other brother said it's kind of the same thing. He's like, how do I acquire a voice like that?
Yeah. I don't know. When he first logged on, I almost stood on line.
Y'all didn't tell me Arnold was going to be on the show.
People think, if you knew how many people ask me if my voice is real, all the time, all the time. They're like, "Is that your
Nah,
result?"
fam, I borrowed it. Hold
I'm
on.
like, "Who?" I'm like, "Who? How many people do you know actually fake their voice?"
Yeah.
Like, ask that. You know what I mean? Like, how many people are like, "Is that your real voice?" I'm like, "No, I'm faking it. I just use this half the time." You know what I mean? The rest of
You gotta take Buddy's spot at Allstate, man.
hey, so on the Allstate commercial guy, James Earl Jones, the fellow who did Optimus Prime voice for Transformers.
I like that.
You know what I mean? So
Hey, Transformers, where is that?
yeah.
Hey, so I got a question for you guys. So it seems like everybody pretty much here is an entrepreneur. So what have you used from the drill field, or what have you gained from the drill field that helps you now in your ventures of being an entrepreneur?
You said from the drill field?
Yeah, what did you learn from starting from DI school and your experience all the way through to the time you finished? How has any of that, what have you learned from that experience that has helped you in your entrepreneurial time right now?
You got first.
Oh, okay. Yep. Well, I say, I think the biggest thing that I take from it is that I took from it was the grind, because when you start out as a fresh hat, you barely getting the info. Like DI school trains you this much. It gives you the basic. The rest, you're going to have to figure it out for yourself. And when it's go figure it out. So you can't let being an entrepreneur, I can't let a roadblock come through and stop me. I got to go figure out what's the best way to get around this thing. And freaking, once I figure that out, I make sure I go tell somebody else, whoever, my brother, my sister to the left or right of me, hey, don't do it like this, do it like that. But that was the type of hat I was as well. So I take the grind.
Yeah,
I love it.
That was a big one. You know what I mean? After the drill field, I felt like there was nothing that you could do to me to play me. Right, so if I stay up late at the gym fixing something, everything you see here, like I did this with my own two hands. So everything you see on the walls, all the hooks, everything that's there, I figured out. Just like Rudy said, I'm like, there's no manual for this. There's not a book like that I can refer to when it says step 1, find space. Step 2, figure out who your clients are. It wasn't like that for me. So I had to figure it out. And it was my hook or my crook. So if I have a late night, it is what it is. Right? If I have to wake up early in the morning, it is what it is. It doesn't matter. And that was the speed for me. And then the other thing that I took away is attention to detail.
Yeah.
You look again at the picture, right? Everything is covered on a line, everything is evenly spaced, everything is parallel to the deck. And that's just how I've always kept things all the time. Not only in my business, but in most of the rest of the way I live. I try to, at least. It doesn't always work.
Yeah.
I try to be that way, and I think customers appreciate it. Now, there might be certain things that somebody else notices that I notice, but it helps me. It actually helps keep me sane, because I want to be in a controlled environment.
Yeah, those are some great points too.
That's good.
Hey, Kadeem, while we're talking, you might have to mute your mic until you start talking, because there's a lot of I think it's yours. There's a lot of background and it's pretty loud.
Oh, that my bad. That was me playing with my phone. I ain't got no listen.
No. I think it's I think it's because your kid you can hear it pretty good in the background.
Oh, the little one upstairs. All right, hold on.
I think it's you. I don't know, but what about so what do you got going on, Puente? I'm not trying to put you on blast.
Nothing, man. That's what I'm saying. That question that obviously does not refer to me, because I haven't started anything yet. I mean, I have it has crossed my mind, because I see all of you guys definitely grinding in and outside the ring for having your own little business and stuff. I definitely love that. I think I had to transition more to Okinawa. Like I said, it did come to mind or whatever, but I haven't done anything yet as far as creating my own little business or whatever. But seeing how y'all are doing big things, obviously being very successful, I mean, it's something to definitely keep in mind, stay in or get out, So one day it's coming, man.
Well, the great part about it is you have, and this is what we're doing here. We're building a community. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no everybody on here at some point. I've asked a question or long conversation, and they help me out with all my questions or help to point me in the direction of where I need to. You know what I'm saying? Where I need to go. So that's what we're here for. It's all selfless service. You know, if I have answers for you, I'm going to give it to you. Like I said, I spoke to George like numerous times. Like, sat there for 3 hours when he was trying to. I didn't even know what the hell I wanted to do. He's like, "You trying to do nonprofit, regular, gym? What?" I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "Well, I don't know either." But he helped talk me through it, though. You know.
For sure, it has crossed my mind, but like I said, I think my main focus right now is obviously here, work, because we are busy. But like college, man, I've just been college and stuff. So once I'm done with like school, colleges, or whatever, it would be nice to start. You know, whether it's a clothing line or something different, it doesn't have to be clothing, for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anybody else want to talk? What about you there, Kadeem?
What's that? No, I'm just kidding.
What's in that cup?
I'm kidding.
What's in the cup?
That mile in the yak.
I would say the main thing that I took from being a drill instructor into business, I know it sounds funny, but was the discipline, man. Like having the discipline to be able to, because me, I got to be to work at 5 in the morning. I still got a 9 to 5, so I got to be to work at 5. I work an hour away from my house. So usually most mornings I get up at like 3:30. So then once I get off of work at 2:30, I got to drive another hour and a half because of the traffic. Pre-COVID, you know, and then I wasn't getting home until like 4 o'clock. Then I got a 1-year-old. You know what I mean? Right now I got a 1-year-old and I have a 6-year-old, so I got to spend time with the kids. And then a couple hours later, I got to start with my business, both of my businesses. And then I got to do that, and I got to spend time with the wife. So if you don't have enough discipline to plan your day, prioritize and stuff like that, and have enough. You gotta be disciplined, man. Like it's not easy as it seems. Especially like I was in school full time last year. I was a full-time student. My wife was pregnant, and we had a 5-year-old who was now 6. You know what I'm saying? 9 to 5 job. She was full-time. She was a full-time student working. She works for DOD. Both of us got government jobs. So you're doing all of that, trying to balance all of that, plus run 2 different businesses at the same time. Mm-hmm. And you talking about lights, like all the way lights. Like you know what I'm saying? So the discipline of being able to keep going is what really what I applied to this, because there was so many times where I'm like, man, this is too much, or this too hard, or man, it's not taking off as fast as I wanted to. But if you stay disciplined, you stay humble, and you keep pushing yourself no matter what, no matter the obstacles that come in your face, you just keep rolling, man. You gotta have a mindset to where nothing's gonna stop you. You know what I'm saying? And that's 100% discipline to me. So that was what I took from it the most. So yeah.
And that's all part of the thing, right? If you think about it, again, most people who are tuning in will probably never drill instructors, right? So that experience for us, again, one of the things that it makes you realize that anything else is easy, right? You talk about multitasking, right? I don't know about, so I was a PI recruit when I was a West Coast hack. Right? So, right. Chris, you remember having to pass out meds, counts, fucking stack linen, fucking like get the bills dressed, IT-10 and IT-10 recruits, all of that to travel the 0530 hatch time at the chow hall. Meanwhile, 6 kids can't find 1 shower shoe. Like, the 4th hat is UA. Fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, Steve just walked on deck. All the kids can't find their trousers. And you just had to figure it out. You just had to make it happen. Especially as a heavy, right? I used to say the heavy is the master of the training schedule, right? The heavy pulls out pockets of time that like don't exist. Like you pull out time from some other universe that had extra time to make sure things got done. You know what I mean? So that was one of the things, and it's also one of the things I miss the most, right? Because being a business owner, I make my own schedule. And one of the problems that I run into is that everything has equal priority for me. So a lot of times, certain things don't get done, right? Because I'm like, oh, well, this has to get done, and this has to get done, and this has to get done. And it all needs to get done 60 seconds ago. So that's one of the biggest takeaways for me is that I miss as well, right? To kind of tie all of that stuff up.
I like it. Who's got a question from one of the group?
The one that I said that there's more to being in the military than being an entrepreneur. There's also
Moody?
What's up?
Johnson told me to ask you about a roach.
A roach?
Yeah. Okay, so Johnson is a cook. I didn't hear about this story. I just went to a course this past winter to my food service staff and TO course, and he asked me about this story. I was like, damn dog, I didn't remember that shit because it happened so long ago. So one day I had freaking it was one night I was on duty and I had recruits on fire watch or whatever, and they weren't filling out the logbook. They weren't doing what the hell they were supposed to do, right? So there I am blasting them, and there's a roach crawling on the freaking bulkhead behind the recruit. And the recruits see it. Like, they can see the roach crawling. And I'm like, getting frustrated because now they're trying to look at the freaking roach. So I freaking knife hand the roach, and I said, hey, stop moving. The roach stops. So
I hate you. I hate you, Moody. I hate you.
Yo, it shook them recruits so bad. They're like, damn, this chick. So I guess they eventually somehow, one of those recruits became a cook, and he was their NCO or whatever, and they told him that story. I haven't heard that in over 10 years.
How do I remember that story?
Saying, no, why you ain't eat that junk though? That's what I would have done.
Oh no!
Oh no! Hilarious.
Nah. We ain't doing that mess. I ain't doing that.
All right, I got one. This is from Kelsey. She said, "How was the transition from the drill field back to the fleet? I can imagine it would be hard to slow back down, and you may not have as much job satisfaction as you did when you were making Marines."
Oh, I like that one.
Who wants to get this one?
I can answer real quick. So one thing, I had a very, very good mentor. He's already retired, Sergeant Major Frazier. He had told me that, he's like, listen, you've been sergeant like out in the fleet. You were sergeant in the drill field, but you've never been staff and CO out in the fleet. Like, you're no longer that bulldog. You're no longer leave the depot in the depot. He's like, and your time now is to like mentor, inspire. He's like, and lead Marines the right way, right? He's like, let your sergeants do that. He's like, if you go back with that mentality that you're still a hat, take some of it with you, like, you're gonna lose the respect of your Marines and your peers. So I took that and I definitely loved it. I went off with it. My first battalion coming back after the drill field, that battalion was like heavy with fire hats, right? And I could see it, like here and there and stuff like that. And I was like, nah, like I can still demand without being demeaning. Marines, but I didn't have to do it. It was more like how he said, like mentoring and stuff. So for me, it wasn't that much of a big like difference or challenge. I took what he said and I ran with it.
I like that. Who else?
That's dope. That's dope. I got a couple questions.
Who's war crying in the background?
Oh man, that's my little one. Hold on,
somebody getting slayed.
Oh, that baby is war crying. Yeah, hey, don't be hazing that baby now. Come on.
Man, I ain't giving no 3:30 and 3 yet, man.
Oh, so it's 4:30 and 4. Okay, we feel you. We feel you.
Nah, man, you know I'm on live, man. I still got allegations.
Oh, that baby on there doing steam engines. Come on, bro.
I can't talk about it. No, I'm just kidding. No, I got a good question. So this kind of applied to everybody a little bit since we all out. Jezebel asked, how has being a drill instructor changed your life now, so many years after? You know what I'm saying? Like, from where you are now to where you was back then. Like, what did it do to your entire life moving forward?
Like career or just?
Yeah, like your life in general.
What you got, Moody?
On the spot, son. I like how you just throw it this way. Whenever he ain't got nothing to say,
hey, cause you were on the back, you were chilling.
He hit me with the take it. I got it. Nah, man, that's some bull. But I guess how has it changed me? I think, you know, we all had that basic drive before we became a drill instructor. You know, that was the foundation of us becoming one, because it was already there. I think it just heightens those skills and your ability to overcome obstacles, not let the small stuff, not sweat the small stuff, and continue to push forward. If something happens, you're not going to cry over it. You're going to be like, okay, it happened. I can't get that back. What can I do next to keep it pushing? So I think it just heightens the little things that you came in with. Now you're just on a whole nother level. We got sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I was about to say, what happened? I dropped the mic. What happened? What happened?
You muted
Yeah,
his.
it works for me too.
Is we Gucci?
Yeah, we good.
Good now.
So what is it? How has the drill field changed us, like our career? I would say the first thing is coming back. People just think, oh, they see on the inbound roster a drill instructor is coming in. They're like, oh man, we got a drill instructor, and they're already like,
yeah.
Right? But then you get there and you change your whole perspective. And it was kind of hard for me because the unit I went to, I just feel like a lot of people didn't really look at my all-star major. I don't feel like he really liked drill instructors, which is funny because he was a drill instructor. And then it was just always this weird vibe. Like even with some people in my shop, I feel like I don't want to say not given a fair chance, like I'm a victim or something, but you can just tell that it was like everything I did, oh, you're doing that because you're a drill instructor. I was like, no. Yeah. I've already had these type of traits. The drill field may have amplified it, but the fact that you knew I was a drill instructor is the reason why you're saying because I'm a drill instructor, I do that. No, it's things that should have already happened, basic things that we went away from that I felt like we went away from in the Marine Corps, and now people want to kind of me being a drill instructor. I was like, no, like we're fat. They're jacked up. You know what I'm saying? They're getting in trouble all the time. They're getting tickets. Like, what does that have to do with being a drill instructor? You're saying the obvious that nobody else wants to say. So I think starting at that point, that changed me in a kind of a negative way. In a positive way, yeah, it helps you, you know, for promotion. People kind of know you, like, oh, you were a drill instructor, and it's like sometimes I feel they want to do things for you, you know. So I don't know, kind of my experience.
Who's next?
He's like, oh, snap.
Oh, hey, check this out, boy. Somebody just wrote though. They say here's a good one. This Lindsay Rodriguez, she said here's a good one for all of us. It said play around of you know you're a Nick if.
Please laugh back.
Okay.
If you're not on camera, but you got your symbol in the background advertising, but you don't want to come get advice.
I had to go pick up mail.
Hey, I'm on your ass. Hey, you better hand it out the right way too.
I had to go pick up the mail, dog. Chief on my ass, man. Shit, come on, man. It's getting real
That's
out
a good one. All right, Moody. You know you're a Nick if.
Girl,
You're muted.
Who muted over here?
There we go.
All right, there we go.
If you mute yourself, that's how you know you a Nick.
You know you a Nick when you don't plug up the freaking golf cart and expect it to work the next day, and that bad boy die out on you midway from medical, but you get them recruits to push that bad boy.
Hey, Chief,
I don't know who that happened to. I don't know who that happened to, but I'm just saying.
Yo.
Hey, that's a good one. Oh, man. So who next? Quinte, you know you're a Nick if.
This happened to me.
Funny.
This happened to me like 2 times, and I actually got sat down. You know you're a Nick if you're too you crash the fucking duty van or safety van.
Oh.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, you about to go down.
If the
for that.
chief asked you, hey, I need someone to get in the van, and you volunteer, and you just got there like 2 weeks ago, and you still got DI score on your breath, boy, I didn't know. Nobody was raising their hand. I'm pretty sure I did that before, and I was like, dude, I'll do it. I don't care. No, it was volunteering to go back down the hill when you're up north. When you're up the hill, hey, I need some people to volunteer to go down the hill. I need to get the morning report done, blah, 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 blah. No, like, everyone's just, like, staring at each other. It was, like, my first cycle. I didn't even know what the hell going down the hill, man. But I was like, I got told to volunteer for everything. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, wow. Wow. Everybody was tearing me a new one. I'm like, Doug, are you serious? Hey, don't worry, tight. Hey, you go down the hill. I'll get the recruits. The hell, what's down the hill? They're like, asleep. They got me messed up. I was in a good ride. I don't care. Hey, you can boo me. You can boo me if you want. Hey, you can boo me if you want.
Ooh, you might be a Nick if you always forget your McMap belt on the way to Leatherneck Square. So you probably got to borrow like 50 different colors.
Yeah, man,
you know how many McMap belts I was wearing? I was a tan, I was a green, I was gray. I was all up and down that thing. I would just, hey, I need a belt. I don't know if I'm going to find a belt, but I need a belt. Yeah, she got a web belt on.
That is funny. I got one real quick. You know you're a Nick if you go up the hill and you forget tactical shirts for the Crucible. Yeah.
That was a later thing though. We didn't do that in the beginning. That
Really?
That was a company thing because we didn't have kids wear tactical shirts after or none of that thing. That was a company based thing.
Oh snap! Yeah, well, we did it.
Silky shirts is the drill.
And I got slayed. I got lost trying to walk down the hill.
Yeah.
My third hat. I ain't gonna throw them out under the bus or nothing like that, but you know what I'm saying. Sorry, bro.
Hey, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. Nick, if you collect and lose all the alpha belt loops for the company commander.
Oh.
Every hat is still losing their mind right now.
Bruh. The whole platoon is alpha belt.
I got one. You know you're a Nick if you check in the DI school.
Oh, don't do it. I already know.
If you did like I did, check in the DI school with gold studs on the side of your green barracks cover.
Hey!
And you walk through the front hatches. And a day early.
Drill instructors.
How you early and wrong?
I walked in, the whole DI school instructor class of teachers was standing right there swimming. And I think they still breathe that on Paris Island because I walked in that door with the gold studs and the green cover, walked in through the front hatches, and it was a day early before everybody else checked in. They all turned around like, boy, you talking about got my face ate off. Then they made me run outside, run around the building. They like, come through the other hatch. You can't come through this hatch. Come. Next thing you know, they all left. They went out the front hatch. They left. So I'm there. It's like 2 hours now went by. I'm standing outside DI school like this. Finally, and you remember the sergeant?
Yeah.
Yep. She come around the building like, Marie, what are you doing? I was like, checking in there, because they had already ate my face, so I'm all nervous. I'm like, checking in the DI school, sergeant. She was like, you a day early, and there ain't even nobody here. You need to go to your room. I was like, oh.
Hoorah, 3 tac 10, stand up.
Yeah, man. There it is.
Boo.
Yo, I got one. It said, what was the most enjoyable thing about being a drill instructor, even though it is one of the most stressful jobs in the Marines? Let's go, George. Where you at? Come on now. I know you ready to say something.
One of the most enjoyable things, a posting them. The total, 3,000, blah, blah, blah.
You know it.
You know what I mean? That was one of the, realistically, man, I don't think there's anything more rewarding. Right? When you see them, I think there is a level of pride that goes along with it. Like you have these 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 something kids, right? That you have capacity, influence, capacity to mold and shape into what you hope to be the future of the Marine Corps at the end of the day, right?
I think you need to tell a story that you told me yesterday
about having the capacity to influence many people.
This is the match.
That influence stays after recruit training, right? You hope that if you run into these kids in the fleet, I call them kids, but if you run into them in the fleet 5, 10, 15 years down the line, they remember the things that you taught them. But, I think that was one of the most rewarding things, at least for me, for sure.
Agreed.
No, that's dope, man. Absolutely. Who else got a most enjoyable story? Enjoyable thing about being a hat? Y'all just miserable, huh? Y'all ain't nothing enjoyable.
No, the most enjoyable thing, and I'm only saying this because my chief tuned in, and I'm gonna dedicate this to her. She already know. The most enjoyable thing about being a hat is when somebody drop off hot child during pickup week. Or better yet, ever was foreman.
Yeah.
Them foreman days, somebody drop off some good food. Now, what's not enjoyable is when you out there on that deck, you done fixed you a plate, put it in the back, you out there on them girls, or boys, because we don't know who's telling this story. But you're out there kicking it, at least trying to kick it, and you put your heart, you done left it on the quarter deck. Came back in, you left it all out there because you knew you had a hot pork chop and some beef and rice back there. Only to come back to find somebody that ate your pork chop. And then when you ask, who the ate my pork chop? The freaking fourth hat. When the fourth hat is heated, it's over. Freaking who ate my pork? Chief ate my damn pork chop. Hey, shout out to you, Selena. I love you, baby.
That's one thing you don't mess with is chow. I'm sorry. You already messing with my sleep? Hey, don't touch my chow.
Facts.
Being happy according to traditions.
Yo, I would say like one of the things that like two things that I hated the most is kind of like a tease, right? So I would say whenever you're doing drill, like the family started, the spouses started bringing food up in the little reviewing stand area. Yeah, so they would bring food, and you're thinking like, all right, cool. Hey, Greenbelts, go eat. Get you some food. All right, cool. You're over there doing it. God damn, dog. Like, hey, okay, I'll take the platoon. They're already done. Like, how are you know? Who's prepping them? Why aren't you over there making sure? Hey, I'll get moto point. You're like.
I hear you.
But between that and one time, Chief was like, hey, everybody go home. All Greenbelts go home. I was like, hell yeah. I get to my car, forget my keys.
Ooh, yep, it's happened.
Bro, I was low crawling through the parking lot. It was nighttime. I was low crawl, bro. I was CCXing all that, the boomers. I was doing all that through the freaking parking lot, bro.
If you didn't learn to leave your keys inside your Vic,
you gotta leave them in there, bro.
Bro, check it out. So I get to my squad bay. My senior's in there. He's like, Jones, like, what are you doing? Like, Chief told you to go home. I was like, I just need my keys. So he kept talking to me. I was like, I just gotta get my keys. So I finally left. Boy, I went into a dead sprint. I was like, and I got warned by Jolly. Rest in peace, Jolly. He told me, he's like, hey, bro, don't go back. Because all the hats were gone. I was like, I need to get my keys. I'm like mid-stride. I hear, Lamont! Dog, I told you to go home. Man, hey, go back to the squad bay.
ooh,
Oh, sick.
Hey, he shined a freaking Surefire on me from the car. He's just like, I'm like, bro, are you kidding me? How did you see me? Bro, I was like I was a rabbit in the parking lot, bro. Like, I hated that. To this day, I'm so heated about that. To this day.
Deer in the headlights.
I got one. Because one of my recruits, who is now a recruiter, asked me if I remember this one recruit in particular. Like, so my question for y'all is, who is that recruit for y'all? Who is that one recruit that you will never forget and why?
Good or bad?
Good.
I got one.
Good recruit.
Boy.
They're all terrible.
God. Oh, nah, brother. No. I got one. Recruit Gibbs, bro. Recruit Gibbs, a little redhead kid, man. And he was a ginger, so oh man, he had to get blazed first of all. But outside of that, man, this kid, man, he had ADHD and he had Asperger's disease, but we ain't know. You know what I'm saying? And this kid, like one thing about him, he was the loudest recruit in the platoon. So I used to be like, all right, bet. Like, I thought he was gonna be one of them good recruits. I'm a heavy, you know what I'm saying? Man, bro, I used to be like, hey, assault packs online, you know what I'm saying? Assault packs online, ready, move. He'll stand there, he'll do like this. And then he'll move. So I kept seeing him. I'm like, hey, recruit. Like, what? Didn't I say get your assault pack? You know what I'm saying? He'll stand there, sir. And then he'll still fidget first because his ADHD was so bad. So he had to do something before he moved. You know what I'm saying? So it came like the second week, this kid's still here, man, bro. When I tell you, man, this kid used to drive me crazy, dog. I swear I thought I was going to kill him. I knew I was going to prison that side.
I was going to put hands on this.
Bruh, man, so we get online, like I wait to recruits, so lights. Recruits get online. They do their little count, I'm missing a recruit. So I'm like, hey, count off again. They do their count, I'm missing a recruit. Next thing you know, one of my recruits, he stepped into the highway. I think it was the guy. He's like, sir. I'm like, shut up. You know what I'm saying? Because my account messed up. I don't want to hear nothing from nobody. He kept stepping back on the line. Sir, Recruit Gibbs is still in the rack, sir. I said, what? He said, Recruit Gibbs is still in the rack, sir. I said, all right. Well, I go jump on top of Foot Lockers. You know, I'm 500 degrees. I get to his rack. That joker look at me, he say, hey, Walker, I don't feel like training today.
Ooh.
Not drill instructor. Not sir.
Y'all buddies.
Hey, Walker, I don't feel like training today.
He said, let me sip on that real quick, bro.
And I grabbed my cover. I said, recruit. I swear to God, if you don't get out this wreck, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you.
He said, I'm going to kill you.
That joker looked at me, he said, proceed, sir.
Oh, my God.
Bruh. Now, Moody, you know how I was on Parasite. Everybody can testify how I was on Parasite.
Yes, sir.
Bruh. All I'm going to say is he greeted every piece of equipment. He greeted every rack in that squad day that morning. Real nice. Dog, that joker. And then that night, he the only recruit still to this day who pulled my card. Because everything I told the recruit that I was going to do to them, I did. We leave that there. But anyway.
You can still get in trouble, man.
Hey, statute of limitations, bro. They updated that.
Yeah. Hey, he pulled my card. That joker said, sir, if you say something to this recruit again, I'm going to jump out the window. I said, do it. That joker ran to that window and was like, we on third deck. He opened that window. I felt that wind come in. I said, hold on. I said, hey, recruit. I said, back away from the window, kid. Please back away from the window. But I thought that joker was going to jump, man. But we had to drop it. He had like Asperger's disease, all kind of stuff, man. But that joke was saying proceed, sir.
Oh my goodness. Hey, well, he was just like this.
I know, bro. You should have seen his face when he looked at me. He said, "Walker, I don't feel like changing."
He said, "Walker, what?"
Nah.
I only got relieved that day.
You sound like one of them freaking recruits you run into when you were doing receiving. I don't know what y'all did for quota, but if you ain't never did receiving, that's a whole nother something.
Hey, people don't understand that. They think receiving's sweet.
No, receiving, you are legit. You are taking a civilian and training them how to be a recruit. That's what you do at receiving.
120 man herd. 120. My highest was 140 that I had to march. 120 man herds. Try doing that, getting them on Monday, or even getting them Thursday. Got to process them and send them over Friday.
Oh, no, but it's even so. It's them civilians, because we would have the females. They have no coof. By the time they get dropped to their platoon, they know better. You can thank a receiving drill instructor for that. Because these chicks, the first 2 days, they'll come walk up to you and tap you on your shoulder.
Where's the bathroom?
This, I don't know how you say it, but the recruit, is that who I am? I don't know. But the recruit needs, I need to go to the bathroom, and I was wondering if you had any extra. Girl, if you don't get away from me right now, I'm like, yo, and you'll be thinking in your mind, like, is this person is serious?
You know person and girl aren't the words that you were using.
Bro. So someone said, like, what was one of the funniest things that you've seen like recruits do? And I would say one is being in receiving. Now that we're talking about it, I have I guess one of the recruits tried to go to medical in the middle of the night. So I went to medical, and you know medical's on the complete opposite on the West Coast. It's on the complete opposite side of the recruit highway from where receiving's at. Well, I guess he had walked all the way over there. He was trying to look for some like a bandage or some kind of crap or whatever. And then the somebody brought him back. Like, hey dog, you know you're missing a recruit. I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, yeah. I was like, where the hell did you go? I was going to medical. I think I had like a headache or something. I was like, it was like 1 in the morning, bro. Stop it.
But them new recruits are
and of course that's my fault because I wasn't like up there like this, like watching the front rows. Did he leave? Is anyone here?
We had a kid. He wasn't even my platoon. His name was Schwartz. And any mic company drill instructor for my time will remember this kid. This kid was about 5'2". Had real thick portholes, right? He had like BCGs, and he had a lisp.
Lord Jesus.
When he spoke.
He pissing me off already.
I'm heated.
Right? So he was like one of those kids. He had some kind of condition where you would say his name and he wouldn't respond for like 4 seconds. Right? He'd be like, Schwartz! But the crazy thing is, if you asked him, he was super intelligent, like he was smart. Like, so if you would ask him like a historical event and when it happened, and he would spit it like super quick. So we're going up the Reaper. We're on the Crucible hike. We're going up the Reaper, the first leg of the Reaper. And you know, Greenbelts, we used to have to run up and down to pick up all the stragglers, right? On the East Coast, same thing. You run all the way to the back. You grab the stragglers from your platoon, you run them back to the front. So I'm going up the first leg of the Reaper for the however many time. And I see a pack. And it's dark, right? It's like 05 or 04, whatever, the sun's not up yet. So I just see a pack. And I'm like, where's the recruit? Where's the recruit? Where's the rifle?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? So, well, 10 feet behind the back is Schwartz, laying on his side, right? Just laying down. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I go up, and I'm like, Schwartz! I sir, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what are you doing? Schwartz, get up. And he's like, and he goes, this recruit's tired, sir. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So he was that kid. I remember we were mini grinding, and he's the smallest kid in the platoon, right? So the heavy, Jay at the time, that's on Brewer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. He calls left shoulder arms, right? So he calls the preparatory command, right? Left shoulder. Schwartz does this. He's the last kid, first squad, little leg. Schwartz does this. He's like,
oh no. What that look like?
Left. Right. And then he's like,
He went swing off.
Yes.
He was a superstar. He was a superstar. I mean, we have multiple of those kids, right? I had one kid. We were still sleeves up. This is before the Marine Corps went sleeves down permanently, and then went sleeves up again, and all this other stuff. So this kid was on fire watch. I was a super Bob, right? I was a brand new Nick, right? And same platoon, as a matter of fact, as this kid Schwartz. Again, Brewer brings this kid on our deck. This kid has a green sweat top on, right? With his blouse on over his sweat top. Sleeves rolled up.
Yo.
So
I believe every bit of it.
It's down. His desert blouse is on top. Sleeves rolled up. Like,
did the sleeves look good though? No,
but were they tight?
and you ask him, right? You're like, what? He's like, this crew's cold. It was almost like you almost can't knock him. You know what I mean? Like, but
oh man,
something we can't make up. You know what I mean? Stuff we can't make up.
Yo, that is hilarious. So I just oh, go ahead. You got one?
You got Mrs. Walker out there asking a question. You a special guest. Give her some mic, Dean.
Wait, say that one more time.
Mrs. Walker has a question about entrepreneurs.
So go ahead, put the missus on the mic, because she was a DI as well, 4th Battalion stand-up.
Yay!
Yep, get in that. Come on now.
What's your question?
Oh, hold on. So my question is for people like me, what about opportunities for Marines that get out that do not want to be entrepreneurs?
Ooh.
Such as myself.
Oh, so you trying to work for somebody else, huh? That's what you trying to do? No, I'm just playing.
Listen, don't play me like that, okay? Because we on live, boo.
All right, I hear you. Oh,
man, I can answer that pretty good since I got a lot of experience with it.
Hey, she watching you, so hey, it's on him now. It ain't on me.
Man, that's actually a really good question, man, because a lot of people really do struggle with that, and I've helped a lot of people that's getting out. And I personally feel, this is me speaking, no, I can't speak for other people, but I personally feel that the majority of Marines, since I've been out since 2013, the majority of Marines that get out, they're not prepared to get out. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't prepared to get out when I got out. One of the biggest things that I see is resumes are
horrible,
terrible. You know what I'm saying?
Horrible.
I'm talking about bad. Like, my resume was better when I was 16 working at Chili's.
Was it putting like NCO of the quarter, NCO.
Yes, and like I'm talking about like 3 lines sometimes. Some of them got 15 pages. Like it's pretty bad. But my whole thing to most people that come to me for advice about stuff like this, because I'm the reviewing official for the position that I'm in right now, because I work for the architect of the Capitol, so I run the supply chain for the House of Representatives, the House office buildings. Like that's my portion. I'm the assistant supply management officer, and I'm also the reviewing official that does the hiring for my office, the procurement section. So I read through these resumes, and I had, Mendez, Moody, I think Mendez, Puente. Mendez really the one who taught me. Mine wasn't that great, you know what I'm saying? And she taught my wife, so I've been passing the knowledge to other people. But the resumes are bad. One thing for people that they need to prepare for is resume writing. If y'all can take classes like while y'all in, it's better than while y'all in the Marine Corps right now, before y'all get out. No matter what rank you are, that don't matter, because none of that really applies when you get out. People get that twisted in their mind. They like, oh, I'm a sergeant major, I'm gonna go here and go there. No, you're not. If you're not ready to hit the world with the proper information to back you. You know what I'm saying? So resumes is a big thing. And apply. Like, people get out, and I see it over and over again. They'll apply like on USA Jobs one time, and they don't get a call back, and they quit. And they stop applying. And so then they find some little job that doesn't even correlate to anything they did in the military. It doesn't do anything for their family. It doesn't push them forward to become better. So they just take whatever comes to them. You don't have to take that. Nobody has to accept nothing from nobody when they get out. But you have to be prepared in order to do so. You know what I'm saying? So your resume needs to be dope. If you need to pay somebody to help you build your resume, spend $100, spend $200 to help somebody to get them to write your resume. And then when, like, after that, you also have to continue to apply. I applied probably like 30 or 40 something times before I landed my first government job when I got out. And it's not just government positions. Whatever it is that you're going for, whatever your field is or whatever you think your trade is. And also remember that your trade, you got a ton of trades coming out of the military. People don't understand that. You got so much catalog behind what you do in the Marine Corps and any other branch. When you come to the civilian world, your catalog is triple what the normal civilian catalog is. Like, I ain't never did supply in the military. And I'm the assistant supply management officer for the architect of the Capitol for the House office buildings.
You kept that gear locker straight. You
get what I'm saying? You got so many skills.
That Foot Locker was lit.
People don't realize they work. That's what it is when they get out. So you got to build that up before you get out. You got to start practicing for interviews. We used to apply to the boards we went on.
Yep.
So you apply it when you get out. You do the same thing. You grab somebody that's already out. You have them sit you down. Y'all review resumes together. Y'all review interviews together. Y'all do just like you did in the military. Because once you get to that interview, that's when you're going to win.
That's when you're going to win.
That's when you're going to win. Because they're going to see how you walk in. They're going to see how you, they're going to hear how you talk. They're going to see your command presence. All of that's going to apply. And immediately when you sit at that table, some people going to look at you like, whoa, this who we need to hire right here. We need to hire this person. You know what I'm saying? So she want to say something real quick since she had.
Hi.
Hey.
I know I'm not part of the whole thing, but I felt that this was a very strong part of the whole veteran thing. So me as a spouse of someone who was in the military, who is starting their own businesses where it comes to clothing and photography, I think a lot of the things that go unspoken is the support system, which in this essence is me. I'm the support system, so when I apply for a job, I don't just apply for it because it benefits me. I apply for it when I apply for a job, I'm like, okay, how is this gonna benefit my family? You know, so I was postal in the Marine Corps. I had no idea what my MOS was until after I graduated NCT, and you know, they call it out your MOSs, and I was like, postal? That, I had no idea that it existed in the military, you know, or whatever. So, you know, I was like, all right, whatever. So, you know, I hated my MOS. My family did not know what my MOS was for the first almost 2 years of me being in the military, was because that's how much I disliked my MOS. Right. You know, so after that, you know, I became very fond of it because I'm like, you know what, even though this is my MOS, I'm going to become very familiar with it. So I become a postal inspector, which now leads into the job that I have now, which I'm an investigative analyst for the DOD, which means that for you guys, the way that you perceive it is, I basically, if you're a colonel and above and you do something that is not right, and you're a brigadier general select, I investigate you. Ooh. So now, right, so now my job was able to translate, like Kadeem was saying, like, we don't understand the language, the language that how we can transform what we do in the military to the government aspect. I was able to translate everything that I've done in the military over 11 years into me becoming an investigative analyst for the government. So, you know, I'm sure you guys will do a segment on that or whatever, but I think it's a very important aspect, the fact that you can take what you've done in the military and translate it to the government or civilian sector, because it's very, very important, because a lot of people may not want to start their own, you know, business or whatever the case may be, but are still interested. For example, me, last year I hit 15 years in federal service because I paid back into my government service, my federal service, into the military. So all that time that I spent in the military didn't go to waste. I paid back, I think I paid back about $6,000, and I get every paycheck, $50 goes into that. But at the end of the day, I still get to retire early. I still get all the same benefits. So, you know, all that applies to, you know, whatever that we do. But people our age, my husband, we're not even 40 yet. You know what I mean? And we'll still be eligible for early retirement in our 40s, 50s, you know, and all that stuff. So I think that's very important for people that don't want to necessarily start an entrepreneurship, but want to work for the government. So that's all I have to say.
I got a question. Don't go nowhere. Sit back down. Watch out, Walker.
Good. Get back.
He like pushing me out the way. I'm like trying to hurry up.
I got a question. And that's an awesome topic, what you're bringing up and what you're speaking on, and I love it. And, you know, the comments on my side are blowing up. And that is what this platform is all about. All right. So if you had to give that a title, what would you call it? And would you like to appear on our show?
Oh, absolutely. So there's two parts I feel that are coming out of the military. Either you want it or you don't. Mm-hmm. There is no in between. You know, when Kadeem came out of the military, he went to work for the oil fields, and I was a stay-at-home mom. And he was gone 28 days out of the month. So he was only home for about 2 or 3 days before he had to go back. That's not what I signed up for. No. When I came, you know what I'm saying? That's not what I signed up for. I signed up when him and I decided, you know, he came out of the Marine Corps for whatever his reasons were. I came out of the Marine Corps because I chose to at the end of the day, because I wanted to be his wife. You know, him being gone 28 days out of the month was not in the, plan or whatever. So, and he would call me, and his space, like, you know how we work 128 hours as drill instructors? How I saw my husband was not that way. Like, his face was swollen, his eyes were red. And yeah, I was a stay-at-home mom because he was making over 6 figures, but I'm like, you're suffering for all this. You know what I mean? So, and I'm like, I'm not okay. What you've done in the military has to translate over something better in the government, you know? So luckily Mendez, which, you know, we were all familiar with her, she was like, hey, you know, we actually moved to Virginia with no jobs. We had no money. Literally the last check that we paid for our mortgage with our savings was that was it. We didn't have no money left. But because of the type of people that we are, we're hard workers. We're not gonna, you know, he didn't just apply for a job and put the same application into every job. He would literally spend like 12 hours on one application to then submit it for this job, and then work 6 hours for this application, submit it. He actually got a job before I did, even though I was the one that got offered the job as a analyst, investigative analyst, you know, once we left Pennsylvania. So he was the one that started working first. And you know, the crazy thing about it was it came to a point where we had to submit for unemployment, you know, and everything like that. So I mean, where we are now, it has absolutely not been easy, but it has 100% been worth it. 100% been worth it, because within the last 4 years, we came here with nothing, and now we're homeowners. We got another kid, and we're both graduates. So it's, yeah, like there's, exactly, yep, all that. Yeah, they're clapping and all that stuff.
What happened to the clapping sound, Chris?
What's that?
What happened to the clapping sound in the back?
Oh, you didn't hear it?
No.
There, man.
You just wanted to hear it again.
I think you know, you guys have the whole DI thing going on right now, but I think it's very important for you all to cover the subject whenever it comes, you know. And
What would you call it?
what would I call it? I would call it life after the military.
Got it. We putting it on the calendar.
Because there is one.
I like it. Putting it on the calendar.
All right, so hey, everybody, let's do this real quick, because I feel like, first of all, thank everybody for providing all the input and everything. It's been amazing. But let's just do one, like, pick out a question, because I don't want to ignore our viewers. I want to make sure they get the full effect. So everybody pick up one last question from everybody, and then we'll say our little parting ways.
I had one for the ones of us that did OCS. What's the difference you feel in training recruits and candidates?
I'll make mine short and sweet. I didn't really like. I guess there was a difference, but I trained them as if there was a difference. My thing was they're going to be Marines. It's not an officer enlisted. You're there to train. And as officers, you're going to be in charge of enlisted, right? So you should have the same type of discipline, same type of everything, same type of training. So maybe that's why I got said down, because I had that mentality.
I like to hear that. That's dope, though, man. That's how it should be.
What you got there, Moody?
I mean, I said like this, there is a different product that you are producing versus OCS and recruit training. At recruit training, you're teaching somebody instant willingness to orders. In OCS, you're teaching somebody how to give those orders. So to me, that was the biggest difference that there was. And it's that influence that you have on the next leadership that's going out into the Marine Corps. So to me, there was a little bit of a difference there.
So how do you balance that, Moody? Is it more like, is that like more, I guess you have like more talking to them, you know what I mean? Like how do you change that how do you make that, you know what I'm trying to say?
I got you. So like, you know, with a recruit, you can blast them, and that makes them move. That's not necessarily what you're doing with a candidate. With a candidate, you're being that gunnery sergeant, that staff sergeant, that mentor that they will meet out in the fleet. You're giving them that first representation of it. I felt like if I was freaking always blasting and never really giving them that mentorship as I should, when they got out to the fleet and they saw that gunnery sergeant, they're gonna be like, well, I'm just scared of the gunny. I didn't want them to be afraid of the gunny. I wanted them to come to the gunny or come to the staff sergeant, because when they're afraid to talk to us, that's when we got issues. And the people that really suffer are the Marines under their charge.
Thanks.
To add on to that, so obviously she was permanent personnel there, right? When I went, and yes, I got sat down, I was in August, my first cycle, and I was with duty. So like I said, we weren't really told how to train them. We were just told like, hey, this is happening. So after being sat down and, you know, good old Moody sitting down and being like, hey, you're supposed to be mentoring them, training them to be and officers. Like, that's when I learned. So I was successful my second time. My first cycle, you know.
Hey, it'd be like that.
That's all right. We keep it pushing though.
We had that song Hernandez in there.
That switch on still.
I would say the difference that I noticed, obviously with recruit training, you know, you get IT'd, you know, after a certain time. Obviously with OCS, you can't IT them. And I would say the training schedules are different, right? The recruit training schedule is set up to where there's a lot of drill periods, and there's plenty of time to IT. Obviously, you know, you got all the hidden movements. There's all type of I'm still in. So, but there's ways that there you can find ways to get the training in OCS. Like I'm telling you, it's there. The schedule is ridiculous. Classroom, get back from the classroom. They got to go here. They get from here. Now they got to go back here. They go here. Now they're going back to the field. It's like, and you want to teach drill. You got some hands that are always out there doing get backs. There's no time for that. You have to do everything almost on the fly. You got a couple drill periods, but you got to figure it out. Or just
day one, they already on flanks and obliques. That's how fast drill has to be taught. Day one.
Call them a files.
Not even lying to you.
But for sure, any prior drill instructor that's obviously still in, whatever, I would definitely recommend at least trying to be an augment, compare it, and it's honestly a feeling at the end also.
Absolutely. All right, Kadeem, what you got for a question? Your last question from your group, your chat.
Let me see what I got. My bad. I was sitting here admiring what y'all was talking about.
He was intrigued. He was like, what?
All right, hold on.
Got a new high score, huh?
Yeah, somebody. Hold on. You're right. Man, I got some other people online talking fast.
We'll come back.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
Oh, no, that's the same one. Hold on.
George, what you got?
Yeah, come back to me.
Yeah, George, what you got?
Basically the same stuff. Everybody was asking for the same thing, like how did it affect you as a business owner and stuff like that? How did it help your business? So I won't beat that horse to death, but I think at the end of the day, just to kind of close, you know what I mean, to wrap everything up,
yeah.
I think we're a dying breed, to be honest, right? Because I look at, I still live here in San Diego. I'm still close to the depot. I got a bunch of buddies that are back down there, second tour as first on and stuff like that. I got guys that have gone back, the commission went back as series commanders, all this other type of stuff, guys that we were in the trenches with. And it's not the same. You know, everybody has a back in my day story, right? I never claimed to be the most off the chain, you know, or any of that. But I had the drill instructors that I looked up to that I wanted to be like, that I thought were tight, that were intense, that were commanding, all this. So I'm curious to see, especially for those of you who are still in, the difference in the product that comes to the fleet in comparison to when we were all drilling.
I think about that a lot.
I heard y'all say 3 TAC 10. I was 1 TAC 11. I know he was 4 TAC 10. And again, every generation has had it worse. Every generation was more off the chain and blah, 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 right? But and aside from the whole COVID thing and everything, one of my boys is a first on down there right now. And he just sent me, they just changed the whole layout of the house. So there's no more 2 bunks. There's no racks stacked on top of one another anymore. 6 feet apart. They turned them into the middle of the house. There's no more drill instructor highway. there's a lot that's changed. I'm curious to see. I'm interested to see, because from the outside looking in, it's not what it was. It's not what it was. I'm really curious to see how it affects the product, if it does. And people will say, "Oh, it's a peacetime Marine Corps, we're not at war, so there's a shift." But we've been at peace before. Like there was times we haven't always been at. There's, you know what I mean? There technically hasn't always been a war that we've been fighting. And the product I came in at 05, so we're in the middle of OIF, OEF stuff. Most of us went to Iraq, went to Afghanistan, and but it's definitely not the same, man. Looking at what the Marine Corps seems to be focusing on now, from outside looking in, it is definitely not the same. I'm curious to see where this goes.
From still being in, you can see that there is a difference. But I always think about it like this: what enemy is the same? As the enemy evolves, so should you. So as the Marine evolves, as the training evolves, so should the leadership out in the fleet. We shouldn't just say, "Oh, well, back in my day ain't gonna get us from point A to B." That's not gonna help us right now.
Yeah.
So I need to know what's going on right here, right now. How can I make this, an effective learning point for these Marines to understand, so that they can push forth and become that next NCO, staff NCO, take my place. So, and I'm a company gunnery sergeant right now, and I do my rounds. Every morning I come in, put my little ditty bag down, and I go do my rounds. I go to every shop. Like, think about it. When we were coming up, how often did you see your gunnery sergeant? Or how often did they come up and talk to you? This generation, they need that. They need that. They need to understand what, some real FaceTime is, not a video. They need to understand, see leadership in a different light, I guess. And like, we have to make that change. We have to evolve with them. It's not going to change for us. And I think, because our old sergeant majors and stuff like that, they had that mentality. You will change for me. And how difficult, like, we're not getting nowhere with it. Everybody has to evolve. Now, don't get me wrong. We still giving proper greetings of the day. You still will stand at parade rest, because that is what we do. That is the profession that we are. And I think those are things that'll never die unless we allow it to.
Man, I had a Mofford Point Marine that I met here last year that's 98 years old. And I was talking to him kind of about the same thing you was talking about just now, bro. Because I was feeling some type of way about, like, right before I was leaving the island, I was watching everything change and, like, recruit training process. And, he sat down with me and he told me this. He said, "Look, young man," he said, "we done fought in every battle there is." You know what I'm saying? He was like, "The Marine Corps is always gonna be the Marine Corps." He was like, "You think we didn't look at y'all like a bunch of young idiots?" He was like, "But look what y'all did in Iraq. Look what y'all did in Afghanistan.
Yes.
Look what y'all did here. Look what y'all did in these wars." You know what I'm saying? He said, "It's never gonna change. Even though it goes in waves," he said, "it ain't gonna change. We still gonna be the best fighting force in this world." You know what I'm saying? And when he told me that, that made me, at that point, that made me start letting all that stuff go. Like, man, why are they doing this? Like, why are they changing this? Like, why is that? Bro, we always gonna adapt and overcome.
Exactly.
Always. We always gonna adapt. And when he told me that, that made my life, my mentality about the Marine Corps so much better from the outside looking in. Like, when he told me that, he was like, "Man, Marines are always gonna adapt. And they always gonna come out on top."
Driving his like Chevy or
Because
whatever.
too many, and the biggest part that he really hit me with, he was like, "We are carriers of tradition."
Yes.
It's always gonna carry, because you still you still got the Moody's in, you still got the Puentes in. You know what I'm saying? You still got all of these people that trained us. That's sergeant majors right now. That's master sergeants right now, and they training all of them people down below them, all of them Marines. So it's even if recruits standing on line for 70 training days, I really think once the boys hit the fleet and gals hit the fleet, they start doing the weapons and arms training, and they go into machine gunners course and squad leaders course and corporals course and sergeants course and all of that stuff. Man, the corps gonna be all right.
Yep.
So I don't even worry about that stuff no more, bro.
Yes.
That's a factory right there.
Hey, he just smoothed me over with a 10 recruit, bro.
Yeah, he did.
I was about to write
Go
that.
eat the shower real quick.
I was about to write them.
I like it.
I like it.
So my last thing, I was gonna do a question, but I gotta like kind of sift through a bunch of them. So for all my viewers, if I didn't get to one of your questions, I apologize. But as you can see, you see how it takes a little long to answer all these questions with 5 people on the panel. But we love you, and we're definitely not gonna forget about it. We're gonna keep track of the fact of you know, the ones that constantly respond. But something that I want to leave that I would say that I see a little bit different. When I was in recruit training myself as a recruit, like I try to get a hold of my drill instructors afterwards, and it's like they didn't want to respond. You know, and I'm assuming that they were stuck in that whole kind of like, oh, you're a recruit, I don't want to talk to you type thing, which, you know, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? I respect if that's what you want to do. But the thing that I realized is, so I would always tell my recruits, especially like as a senior, I'm like, hey, I was told like toward the end, I was like, make sure you guys start a group. I've got a group with my last 3 senior cycles at least, and my seniors from I think at least 2 or 3 cycles before that, they started a Facebook group as well. So we have a group. Anytime they need anything, they just message the group, and we all kind of like see if someone. I didn't see this last recruit that passed away, but a couple other recruits that passed away. Because the way I look at it is this, man. If we're over here preaching family at the Marine Corps and the military, supposed to be a family in one tight-knit group, how do you as yourself, as a drill instructor, just quit, you know what I'm saying? You just lose contact with Marines that are going to be, you know what I'm saying, taking your place. Why?
Yeah, exactly.
You just ignore them because you want to be tough or you want to be hard?
There's no way.
I never cared any about that. I have my recruits in here right now messaging. They message me like, hey, you know, what's going on with this, blah, 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 blah. Why would I ignore them? That makes 0 sense. If they email me, I email them back. If they message me, I message back. Call me at fucking midnight and they say, hey, I'm in trouble or something. I'm going to freaking answer that damn phone and I'm going to do what I need to do to help them out. It makes 0 sense to ignore the people that are taking your damn spot. You know?
Well, you hit a good.
You know what I'm saying? I give myself one of them things.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to leave anything? We're gonna do our last little parting ways. Anybody got anything left?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, man. As far as like even like social media, I say like some people will be like, "How are you friends with recruits or whatever?" Like to me, it's like I have nothing to hide on social media. If I'm posting something negative or whatever, then I gotta fix myself, right? Like
Exactly.
I leaders, whatever. So like I said, we don't just drop them, completely take them out, whatever. But one thing I did want to say, I appreciate this that you're doing just the panel that's out there. You have civilians. I just had sergeants majors on my line also, like asking different questions and stuff. We have Marines of every rank, civilians out there asking questions, learning about not just the drill field of the Marine Corps, but even entrepreneurship, like how Mrs. Walker like informed us about. So this is good knowledge for anybody and everybody, man. So thank you.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
That clap is hilarious, bro.
Yeah.
That clap is hilarious.
All right, everybody. So I want to make sure that everybody kind of leaves like their whatever it is, their brand, their whatever it is that they have that they're presenting in the entrepreneurial world. Let the viewers know because we definitely are here to support the veterans. So who wants to get started? We can go around the room.
Y'all can go ahead and delete Walker. Y'all can go ahead and just.
I don't have one. Obviously, I don't have a business or anything. But one thing I do want to leave off with is, like I mentioned before earlier to you guys about my dad testing positive, but not just for my family, but like everybody out there that is tested, whatever, just to let them know that they're in our prayers.
Yes, facts. We love you. We love you, Puente.
Hey, we definitely pray for you.
Absolutely. We love you.
Thank you. Who's next?
All right, let's go around.
Who's next?
George,
Go,
what you got?
go.
Hey, right, that's what I was thinking too.
If you're in San Diego area, definitely come by the gym. Right, I promise I will make you empty your pockets.
Who's gonna pump you up?
Hey,
Pump you up.
cop that brainstorm fitness gear. You know what I'm saying? Support your boy. Obviously, we got this whole COVID thing going. You know how it is for gym owners. We are definitely here to support each other, man. Go to his website, support. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do to get back.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Check us out at www.brainstorm.fitness or brainstormfitgear.com to get you some shirts and whatnot.
Okay, we will.
Appreciate the opportunity.
All right. What you got, Kadeem?
Oh man, so I do got one quick thing to tell y'all real quick. This is very important for me. Hold on 1 second, my bad. So, as y'all know, Simple Fresh Clothing, right? That's my brand. It's my logo right there. Puente, I see you over there. Rudy, you know, I appreciate y'all. But, so, we all know what's going on around the country and all the situation with racism and things of that nature, and how the situation with George Floyd was almost like a plague around the entire world. That's probably the first time in history I've seen this many people around the world get together for one cause. You get what I'm saying? So what I did was I made these shirts that says, "You can't hear my voice," and on the back it says, "Because I can't breathe." Now these shirts, me and Antoine, who are the owners of Simple Fresh, we put our money into it. And every shirt that has been purchased and that will be purchased all the way up until Monday, because we dropped these a month ago. So Monday, we are donating every single dollar, 100% of that, to George Floyd's daughter. So I think right now we're at about $13 or something, $100 so far. We still got a couple more shirts left. So if you log on www.simplefreshclothing.com, I would truly appreciate grabbing some shirts before this is over with, because Monday I'm closing it down and we're doing the donation. Like I said, 100% of all of that is going to George Floyd's daughter. So with that being said, also I am a photographer. So if you are in the DMV area, that's DC, Maryland, Virginia. If you're in that area, if you want some photos taken, I'm your guy. My prices are sweet. I work with people and I try to make everybody experience as awesome as I can. And you know, so just supporting people, keep supporting these entrepreneurs. Stop spending $1 million for a t-shirt somewhere else where you can buy an even nicer t-shirt from your friends. Moody, I still wear your hoodie all the time because that thing on print, that vinyl.
I appreciate
that.
You know what I'm saying? So support your people, man, because you know we got so many people. It's not even about, you know, just spending money and just looking good. It's, you know, it's deeper than that. Like people feeding their families, all kind of stuff come from this. Like my man got his own setup over there, so I can't imagine the blood, sweat, and tears he had to put into that. And if you know him, you're his friend, you worked with him before, why not support that? You know what I'm saying? Why go somewhere else? If you're in that area, why go somewhere else? Support your people, that, especially these Marines. Like if y'all in the Marine Corps together and you know somebody is trying to do something to either better themselves or to start a business or to do anything, even if, like Wednesday, like she was just saying, she don't really have no aspirations right now to be doing this stuff. But support what she's doing on the job. You know what I'm saying? Call people and ask them, hey, what can I do to help you? There's so much we can do as people, period. Don't matter the color of your skin or where you come from or anything. We can always help other people become better in this world. And that's what it's really about. You know what I'm saying? So support your people. You know what I mean? And if you got a brand, also, you should be supporting other brands too. Don't just have everybody hounding your stuff. Like, support everybody. So we all, it's too much money in this world that everybody can't eat. You know what I'm saying? It's too much. So support your people, support my brand, and keep up the good fight. And lastly, I thank you three for your continued service to this country, because without people like y'all, I swear to God, man, like I remember the days of talking trash about, man, why we gotta do this? Man, Marine Corps is that, Marine Corps is this. But when I got out and I truly started seeing how important what y'all do for this country, man, it's up here. You know what I'm saying? So I truly appreciate y'all for keeping us safe and doing what y'all do on a daily basis, man. Because without y'all make the United States go around. So thank y'all for y'all service.
T-Mood.
Well, closing it out, this was an awesome show. I think this was one of the best shows that I like being in, because it was just awesome company, great conversation, everybody sharing and not just telling their stories, but we're all relating. And that's part of what this is all about. Bringing vets together. We can relate on some topics. We know we got each other. Now we just made new friends all up in here. You know, so that's going to be a driving force for us. And I just encourage other vets, keep coming, keep watching, tell somebody, push it out to a friend, because you know what?
Yes.
22 push-ups ain't it.
Hey, exactly.
This is it. I'm sorry.
Is it. Exactly.
I'm with
sorry.
you on that. I hear you on that.
Hey, I almost ran the loop, Moody.
And so before I do my ending comments, I noticed that somebody put in the chat that, hey, we got to do a better job of incorporating the viewers. So I'm going to say that's on me. You know, we started off reading, but we're definitely going to do that as we go along. You know, where are we in episode 3? You know what I'm saying? Episode 4. Hey, we're still getting it, but we'll definitely do a little bit better job of making sure we include the viewers with the questions. Just understand that these questions be going sometimes. So.
Right.
Yeah. But as far as me closing off, like I said, I want to give a shout out to each and every one of you guys. I appreciate every one of you guys for even taking the time out of your days to be on here. So thank you to each and every one. And like T. Moody said about supporting each other, hey, I would be a hypocrite, right? So we got Brainstorm Fitness here. I got to get some separate fresh stuff. I got to make sure I show my love.
Hey.
Tight elbows right there. You know what I'm saying? And I walk the walk and talk the talk, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's right.
So as far as for me, you know what I'm saying, we got the the veteran influencer gear. Like I said, I got tank tops, I got hoodies, I got mugs, got you know what I'm saying? I got the face mask, you know what I'm saying? So Teespring, make sure you search veteran influencers. Hey, every day we're evolving, every day we're getting something new. Make sure you stop by if you want support. Make sure you stop by and support my boy Brainstorm Fitness, Separate Fit Clothing, Tight Elbows, and Puente. I am looking forward, because the sky's the limit. I can only imagine how dope of an entrepreneur you're going to be, because as a Marine, as a hat, you are absolutely phenomenal. So I know you're going to make a great entrepreneur. Whenever you're ready to do that, the sky's the limit for you guys. Thank you guys so much for everything. Make sure you guys go to our new Ask a Vet Facebook page and our Ask a Vet Instagram. We just started it. Make sure you guys go like it, because next week we are going to be streaming from that page, so you don't have to try to like ghetto connect people's personal accounts on the Facebook. You know what I'm saying? Set up watch parties and whatnot. So Ask-a-Vet on Facebook. Make sure you like the page, put on notifications, because next week we're going to be actually streaming from there. I'd like to say thank you to all the viewers that showed up. This was our highest viewed show, so shout out to you guys. We had over 80 in the chat at one point, which is absolutely amazing. I think we had 50 was our max before this. It's only up from there. If you guys have ideas, if you go to the Ask a Vet Facebook page, we have an email button. Email us with your ideas if you want to sponsor a video and you think you have like a brand that you want to represent, you want us to share out or promote for you. Send us an email. It's askavet1775@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you guys for everything. I appreciate all the people here on the board, and thank you to the viewers. We're going to be back next week.
Yeah. Ask a vet.
Yeah. Awesome.